your current sitting corrupt president. So leadership ngesinye isikhathi uyazalelwa yona. And leaders then hire people who are able and capable, who are educated to take us out of the mud.
Invent the playbook. The playbook, let's not reinvent and start saying who got money from who, overly analyze and ended up being inactive. I am scared of that. I'm really scared of confusing people where you start, dipping into conspiracy theories and all of that when we have to be decisive. I strongly believe the time is calling for us to be decisive and pick patriotic, xenophobic, country-loving and South African loving, especially loving our people that are marginalized. We need leaders that can empathize, sympathize, that have demonstrated that they care about the life of a South African. That is all I'm saying. Let's not reinvent and start now throwing in doubt even in the system that we currently have, that it is ineffective, and be despondent. I'm worried about that language. I'm worried about the language of giving up and overly negative. I'm worried about that, because what it does, it makes the very people that we want to see in the polling stations to not wake up, because they won't see a point of going up. Let us pass on some positivity to say, come on, people, we need you in the polling stations. Come on, our people, we need you to vote. At least, whether, yes, now I conceive on Zonwaba what she was saying, and what Commander Josh is saying. We need to vote specifically, primarily, everything about us and anything between us and above us. We need to vote patriotic parties. That's it. People that are sounding the alarm about the immigration crisis in the country, because we are really going through the most. What we see this year is an anomaly. What is happening in the country is an anomaly. I got chills when I heard the current general speak about the SANDF unable to do its work because the politicians have chosen that the borders of this country must be porous. I know that he knows, the general knows, that it takes the army to safeguard the country, but they're not doing it because it's a form of protest for them. At the same time, they don't have the budget because it's deliberate to do so. How about we don't reinvent things and theories and definitions and all that, and say, South Africans, we stand on patriotism, we are pushing on xenophobia. Thank you.
Mrs. K, you want to say something?
Hi. I'm still dealing with the baby here, but I just want to say that, I mean, we can't sit here, again, I'll say, we can't sit here and start say it's not about, I understand that it's not about education, and I didn't say anything about education or any, I know people get born to be leaders. There are so many people who had no education and they are good leaders, but I'm just saying that sometimes it's a good eye as well to look at what those people have done. For example, when we always talk about Julius Malema, we always point out the fact that he failed woodwork, because we understand that if you cannot have an understanding of woodwork, you are not going to have an understanding of running a country. And we cannot sit here and bash around presidents who have been rich or whatever, because we had a president who hardly had grade 7, which was Zuma, and he still did the same. So at the end of the day, it's not about education. Yes, it is not about, it's about the wisdom and the knowledge. It's about morals and values and wanting what is right, which is morals, right? So, I mean, we can sit here all day and start saying, who was rich, who was poor, who at the end of the day, it's not about money, it's not about education. We all know that, but it doesn't hurt to look at the past experience that person holds. And I like very much what Commander did there. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear people on the inside giving us more details, because for some of us, we don't know Dudula that deep. For some of us, we don't know what's the other one? ATM so deep, right? But we need people to come out here and say, look, I'm in there. I have seen how we do it. This is how we do it. That's what we need, details. We want to be familiar with the depth of those political parties, because for me, I'm in depth with Action SA, because that's what I know, that's what I voted for, that's what I've been researching on. So more people can come up here on the panel and give their give ideas to what to vote for and how, because they have information. So we need people with information. We are not against anything that is patriotic. We're not against any leader that is xeno, because that's what we want. We are not against any leader who was born to do that. But I had no idea that even the Dudula people, there is people from the EFF, there's people from the ANC, that they had so much that Commander told me about. So that's what I'm saying, that in these platforms, we need to talk about the depth of these political parties. When people wanna tell us what to vote for, they should give us the depth so that we understand. And I know we're not gonna get 100%, but we're looking for here, it's a patriot, it's a person who's gonna put South African first, and a person who wants better for this country. And everything else, I know, once especially immigration is dealt with, everything else will fall slowly back into place. But we need more details, because personally, I've never seen a lawyer from Dudula or ATM. So I need more of that, and that's all I was saying. I'm not against anyone. I'm not against any political party.
Commander Josh is a lawyer.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm saying I had never had that, and that is why I'm not saying he's not. I didn't know. I always see him submitting, but I didn't know the depth of his career. I didn't know that he was even on Dudula. So that is what I'm saying. That it's a learning process.
And Miss K, because Commander, even though.
It's important.
If Commander was a non-educated man, the fact that he's patriotic and loves his country,
changing laws need lawyers, Bongile. Changing laws need lawyers. Finances need economics. Finances need economics.
Those people will be hired, guys.
When he comes and gives a submission.
Okay, guys, do not speak on top of each other. Mr. K, you can please carry on.
Okay, I was getting done, but I want to say this.
Mrs. K, hold on. Mrs. K, hold on. I know it's frustrating of this discussion. Can I ask you one question, Mrs. K? Have you ever voted for EFF?
No, I've never.
No. Second question. Do you see anybody here that can become a leader for South Africa?
What do you mean here? On the panels?
23?
Yeah. Anybody that you've met on TikTok? Have you ever seen any leadership skills?
Panels with Ukolo, yes. I see that you can become a leader.
Have you ever seen anybody that possesses any leadership skills?
I said Ukolo, yes.
Okay. So if Ukolo will come here and say, I'm going to be an independent candidate for voting, and if you listen to him, you wouldn't vote for him because you have never seen him on the ground.
It's not about the ground.
If he doesn't
it's about the knowledge. It's not about the ground. It's not about the ground. It's about the knowledge. No, you guys are misinterpreting me.
Okay,
I did say that it's not about education. It's about knowledge. It's about
is it what you're saying, that he doesn't have the knowledge?
Who doesn't have the knowledge?
I think.
I'm not saying that. You guys are not listening. I said.
I don't think she said that.
You guys are not listening. You see, you're listening to misunderstand me. You said, do you see a leader on this panel? I say yes, because I've heard Ukolo submit. I've heard him being critical. I've heard him in economics. I can trust him because I know he can run numbers. I can trust him because he's very specific with stats. He's very on top of everything that he says. It's very, very on point. He doesn't speak on top of anything. And that is what I'm saying, that I didn't even know who Commander is. I would see him submitting, but I didn't know the depth Tutula and all of that. But today I have learned, and I'm like, oh, now I have a new perspective of Tutula. And that's what I've been saying, that we need to get more details on people like Tutula, because a lot of people think Tutula, they're just running around talking about illegal immigration. They don't know that Tutula has lawyers. They don't know that Tutula has people from the ANC. They don't know that Tutula has people from EFF. Such things, I'm not against it. I am not against. I was just saying that it is good to know the depth of these political parties. And I didn't say it was about education. I didn't say that. I said it's about wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom and knowledge cannot be taught. Values and missions cannot be taught. Caring and being patriotic cannot be taught. It's something that people are born with. So you guys are misunderstanding me because you want to hear what you want to hear. I said nothing about what you want to hear. I said nothing about. So I even said that we can go back to saying which president had money, which president didn't have money. Zuma did still do worse than Ramaphosa. So you guys are trying to misunderstand me. And no, you're trying to misunderstand me. No.
Want to hear what they want to hear.
Let's move on, Ronaba. Let's move on. So that this thing is still clean, and we are moving on the direction that we are agitating on spreading the news, spreading the love, and ensuring that South Africans are coming out in their numbers, like what Commander Josh is saying. Let us tell our cousins, our sisters, our brothers, our extended family, our families to be sober next year's elections and really elect. It's in our interest to really push patriotic parties. I am certain about who I'm going to push for on my side, because I've seen results, and I believe, because I live in Johannesburg, that Johannesburg deserves that kind of leadership that will really deal with the problems of illegal immigration, because that's what is taking us down in the city of Johannesburg. So those are the conversations. Let's try not to perhaps direct a personality or to a person. I think it's not going to help us. Let us agree on this platform and on this premise that we are for patriotic parties, and they've been listed already. That Operation Tudula, ATM, Action SA, of which I'm the proponent for Action SA myself, vehemently coming out. Thank you.
Thank you, Xolo. We can have the next speaker.
Sorry, just to go back on that, I don't think it's you are being a conspiracy theorist if you just also point out to who funds these political parties, because we know at the end of the day, most times through history and through experience that we've had, is that most of the policies that are written to appease the funders. So I don't think we can go and say we are going to follow this party without looking where they come from, who the leaders are, what sort of philosophical agendas they've got. Because as I say, that, you know, experience also plays a huge role in us selecting a patriotic party. Yes, people can change. People have come from a certain party with certain ideas, and then they've changed. Yes, we agree all that, but also it's also not wise to dismiss all those things, like the historical events that got them to be where they are. And if we do say that it also, this is what maybe my fear or what I've known about this party, I don't think it's wise to just dismiss it or dismiss us and say we are being anti this and anti that. It's just also, as we are saying, as Ms. K is saying, it's good that we come to these platforms and we discuss all these things about what we know, what we heard, what we've researched about these parties, both good and bad. And if there's one that is leading the race, it is then up to us to make sure that we also understand all the what may be seen as negative about them, because we don't want to put anyone in power only to find out that they're in bed with the enemy.
Protagonist, I want to ask you something. If the local government elections were to happen tomorrow, which political party were you going to vote for? Because I see you critical of the most basic political parties which we regard as patriotic.
I don't think I was critical of all. It's just one, and as I said, it's based on history and knowing where they come from. And as I said, I think some of the points that were raised, and hence I even say that some of the things that we are raising, it's fine. They can come to those, like anyone who's a mayor can come to that decision because they've got power. But now we can't compare them to someone who doesn't have power and say that they are a better candidate. So that's what I've been saying. But personally for me, ATM is so far my better party. And I do agree that I need to do a whole lot more research on them, because like a small party like ATM is not information not readily available like other parties. But as we stand tomorrow, if I had to get up, if I had to sleep tonight and get up tomorrow morning, that would be the party that I'd vote for with all the information that I currently have at the moment.
TM? Sorry.
Commander, did I answer you?
Yes, you've answered me, my brother. I just want to say that, when we have three political parties which are patriotic and are in contestation, the net is wider. People have got three options. Unlike having a single option. Sometimes when you have a single option, at the 11th hour, that single option frustrates you. And then your alternative is either to abstain from voting or is to choose a wrong political party. So patriots must not see the presence of three political parties as a disadvantage. It's an advantage because you've got three.
Definitely not, yeah. Definitely not. I think, as you're saying, it's actually better for us, because previously in the past we were limited with options on which political party to pick from. And I think as time goes by and people are awakened to the political atmosphere of the country, and then people are, and also with the rise and the accuracy also of social media, people can make much more better informed decision in terms of which political party to side with, because just picking a political party determines the next 4 years on, is it going to be good, is it going to be bad, what's going to happen. And that's not something, or 5 years rather, and it's not something to be taken lightly. And I'm grateful for platforms like this and all the other sort of social media platforms where all the ills and the greatness of political parties are exposed, and also us just engaging with people who may come from certain political parties, and we may be enlightened to certain other things that we may have not been privy to in the past. So definitely the wider you can cast your net, the more fish you can catch. So definitely I think it's a good thing. It's nothing to be, as you said, to be looked as a negative thing.
Yeah, and when we go to the polls, we must be conscious of the fact that you cannot vote in an effort to have your political party achieving 50+1 or becoming a leader. No, you are voting so that your aspirations can find representation in the council. The days of a political party ruling a municipality solo on its own, they are gone.
They're gone.
We are now in the age of coalitions. We are going to have coalitions until the end of time, or until the electoral system is changed in the country. So that should be the attitude when people go to the polls and vote. Even the ANC will never see 50+1 again, as long as we have this kind of electoral system.
Yeah, if what I wanted to add on my side is that for us as well, we can take take stock on the performance of existing patriotic parties, and I think we can't dismiss that. And you look at traction, which party has more chance to have traction in terms of numbers, so that there is better representation and better influence, especially on the main issue of dealing with the issue of immigration in the country. I believe we can take stock and analyze. For an example, you can look at Action SA, look at the history of Action SA, what they've done and what they still stand for. Over and above that, you don't have a single person party with Action SA compared to others. Others, you only hear one person. You don't really necessarily hear what others in the party are doing or are saying about issues. But with Action SA, you see in Parliament their representation in the portfolio committees. They are doing the groundwork. They are doing. They are literally asking the right questions. You see them in portfolio committees delivering and challenging, the status quo, and that's what you want to see. You see that the leadership is not concentrated in one man. You see leadership permeating in different, demonstrated by different players in the party, and that's what you want to see, carrying the mandate of the people. And that is what I call what I call as leadership, profiling the aspirations of our people, which is a South Africa that is clean, that is running smoothly, that is focusing on putting South Africans first in all decision making, in all programs of the state, and that's it. So for me, in as much as splitting is okay, but we also have to look at which one can deliver best in terms of numbers, and push that, so that we cross this thing of immigration once and for all in our lifetime, and then we look at other things as we move forward. That's my take. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Otolo. Mohammed, have you given a submission? Because I think it was Mohammed, then I'm not sure if it was Bex or Lolina.
Lolina was next after Mohammed.
Oh, Lolina. All right, cool. Go ahead, Lolina.
No, my part is just that if, let's assume that in 2026, you take the ANC and the GNU is combined into one party, and they have their own manifesto and their own thing. How would that go down in South Africa?
What do you mean?
That I don't think it's relevant to give hypothesis when we are faced with real things. I think perhaps let's engage with what is existing.
No, with the hypothesis. I'm saying with the hypothesis.
You know that it's more likely than not for ANC and DA to become one thing. Come on, no, man. So I don't think we can engage in hypothesis now and say, what if ANC, all the GNU parties become one in next? Because that will never happen. Let us perhaps engage.
Why you say that would not happen? Why
it's more likely than not, because it's more likely than not that it will not happen.
But I read an article in Mail and Guardian.
Close to zero.
I read an article in the Mail and Guardian, aside from the tripartite alliance that put their motion forward, that could be a possibility in the near future for South Africa's
stability. You think that the ANC will ever match with brother?
No, what I'm saying is ANC would be on its own. The GNU forms its own party, so we'll have two parties in South Africa.
There will never be parties in South Africa as for coalition.
Call it a hypothesis, but it's an article that I read.
Yeah, that possibility.
But when are you a patriot? Perhaps let's start from there. Which party would you vote for?
I've been on the previous channel. I've been on this channel. I'm just sharing what I know about.
No, it doesn't matter. But like in terms of patriotism, what are your thoughts?
Patriotism is about giving into your country, giving to whatever that you are invested with, and whichever environment that you are in. That is patriotism, giving back in what you work in, whether you're in the private sector or whether you are in the government sector of a country,
Do you believe
of a
that?
sovereign state.
Do you believe that mass deportations will solve more than half of our problems?
Sorry?
Do you believe that mass deportations of illegal immigrants, migrants, will solve more than half of our problems? Is that your stance?
More than half is possible, but I think it'll be less than half, because South Africa, we need to push forward our own people so that they could drive our country forward in the best way that they can. But absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
So with regards to
50%.
problems, what percentage do you think illegal
Maybe
immigration occupy?
80%.
No, not 80%.
No, I would say on our side.
Oh, okay.
In South
Yeah,
Africa.
but it can be 80%. But anyway, I think you've answered me.
Yeah, for me, where we at, Mohammed, the reason I'm pushing back in the hypothesis you were presenting, I feel like we will get our people confused when already we are close to elections. Literally, we are counting months. We need decision. We need to awaken our people to push patriotism in their voting. I feel like I'm agitated to want and passionately so to want our people to really pick patriotic parties. And I think the conversation, we really need to narrow it and say, you know what, amongst our group, this is what we are pushing for, so that we are clear in our messaging, we are clear in our target, we are clear as well as far as impact is concerned. Because once we start with what aboutism or hypothesis this, what if this happened and this doesn't happen, and all of that, I feel like you are confusing the messaging. I want us to have a clear messaging right now, roundabout now, so that come next year our people are clear that this is the reason we are pushing patriotism and we want patriotic parties to take a stand. That's why. Not that I differ in terms of maybe your engagement. No, I don't have a problem with that. But come on, guys, patriots, let us focus now and really drive it home. Patriotism will save us. Putting the right patriotic people in seats that are for decision making in our country, we will deliver for the next generation the mandate that they've entrusted us.
And tell people on different levels. We have seen Herman Mashaba as a businessman. We have seen him burning bridges because of certain things. I mean, we are not. Anyway, for me personally, I voted for Action SA.
Mrs. K, where is Black Like Me now?
He sold it because it was successful. You don't have to.
It was successful.
Because he wanted more money. Why not? People sell companies all the time.
Hold on, Mrs. K. Our position as patriotic, our position as patriotic space here, guys, is actually engaging. She's right, Mrs. K is right. We are engaging so that we are not confused when it comes to making decisions and be pulled in many different directions. Who are the patriotic parties that we can earmark and say these people, they have demonstrated to listen to the people and do the work? We have profiled them in the space so that South Africans are clear about that. It shouldn't be us when we are bringing this as if we're doing something wrong. We can't be attacking Mrs. K.
When she is
can't be attacking Mrs. K for what she's doing.
I am not judging. No,
It's very pro-patriotic.
No, I didn't judge. I said, no. I didn't judge.
What you are doing is actually what is dangerous with us.
I didn't judge. Guys, can you listen?
Guys,
Can you listen? I'm the one who submitted. I didn't judge
Miss K's turn. Yeah, go ahead,
I
Miss
didn't
K.
judge Dudula. I said we have to look at other aspects apart from them only dealing with illegal immigration. The financial stance on how educated are they with that in running a country, because running a country is more than illegal immigration. Okay, it has to do with finances, it has to do with changing laws. Like we're saying now that we have to change the constitution. Do they have people in their part who are able to do that? Have we seen lawyers coming out of Tutula to say, hey, I'm a lawyer from Tutula and this is what I stand for and this is what I can change and this is what I can do? I'm asking, apart from them.
Sweetie, Commander George is a lawyer for Tutula.
I'm here, Miss K, I'm here. And let me say something on what you are saying. Look, there is a depth and quality inside Tutula. Remember, the leaders of Tutula, most are from various political parties. So they have left those political parties because those political parties are not addressing their concerns. So they are people with experience, because they were office bearers in those political parties. So they have experience, they have the know-how, they will be able to manage the positions which they will get as a result of the votes. It's not like they are new people, they are just like your graduates. They don't have any work experience, they don't have any exposure to politics and stuff like that. No, they are knowledgeable. They are knowledgeable, they are experienced, they come from a certain political background. Some come from the ANC, some come from, a variety of political parties. Some come from EFF, There's a leader in Diepsloot. He was at the high echelons of the EFF, but he left because of the stance of the EFF on illegal immigration. So there is that...
In this case, for me, let me tell you about me. I was working for an American company, Chevron, and I saw how Americans sold that company and South African bought that company.
So if you worked for Chevron, was it in Cape Town at the refinery?
It was in Durban.
Was in Durban. How long were you working there?
For 9 years.
For 9 years.
Yes.
Now I've had family that worked at Chevron, and I've seen how things has happened. And believe you me, I'm not a white person, so that should tell you even more. Okay.
Okay. But there's something I want to correct. Firstly, we mustn't trust business people in South Africa, and secondly, we mustn't trust the news, because now we are only focusing on the farm killings. The farm killings, it's a problem, we all know about it, but the news are so blinded because you've got farmers who are killing each other, but they don't coming up with that problem. But the problem now,
please interject there with you. T4 is speaking about farm killings. Farm killings is far less than black on black crime and killings.
Yes, I
far
know.
less.
I know,
when you look at a narrative like that to utilize in a racialistic type of manner, I disagree with you.
No, sir. I'm trying to bring the conversation why we are here, why we have Elon Musk, why we have black people black people who are claiming the land, why we have Trump in, why we have all those thefts that are being exposed to South Africa. The real problem that we have, we talk about the problem that we have now. The problem that we have now is people who've got an interest in minerals that are in Free State. That is what is happening in South Africa. There's a guy I know in the USA. If you check the two incidents,
People, when I speak, please, I speak to you with respect and love. I just want to comment to somebody in the comments.
Yeah, sir. The two incidents that happened. The two incidents that happened in South Carolina and LA.
Oh my God!
We need to please check what happened there before we start having this problem. The problem of Lesotho try to claim the land in South Africa. You have to look what caused that problem. You have to check those things step by step. But if you cannot check it, even people that I know.
Tifo, where have you gone for education? Please tell me. I'd love to know who have failed you for how you come across, because when I speak to you, I ask if I can comment something to somebody in the comments.
Okay.
And you don't give me the opportunity to. So please, man, listen. Listening is a skill. You'll only learn from it. Now, sorry for going at you like that, but I do love you as a person and I do respect you. But now to the person in the comments, #no, Nawaz, can you please request to come up into the box so that I can show you how unbiased I am? Because you don't know me, you don't know what I'm all about, you don't know how deeply I am a South African. So please request to come up. Tifo, you may go ahead, but try and give other people this opportunity, please, man. Thank you.
Sir.
Before you continue, I feel like you are dragging the conversation out of what was initially the topic.
No, sir, you must understand. You must ask yourself one thing in South Africa: why you have dumb politicians? Why we are in this problem? Yes, you have to talk about this, the corruption and the land, all those things. If you cannot talk about those things, they're gonna affect you every day.
What is the topic? What is the topic of today?
No, I understand the topic, but we are addressing the land. I was on the land issue. Why now the gentleman was talking about civil war and all those things? I was saying, if you cannot address the problem, why we have dumb politicians who are leading the country, who's making those people to stay in power? It's South African business people who are doing this. Why the issue of the land? Why now there's a burning fire about the land? It's because of minerals. That the conversation is about the land. Whether you are farming, you are mining on the land. It's the land that was took from black people. You have to break this bit by bit. And the most important thing, why we are in this issue now? Why now? Why this is happening? We mustn't be blinded of what is happening, because the South African business people, they know exactly what's happening.
But we were not talking. T4, we were not talking about the issue of land as an internationally. We were talking about domestically, not the influence of USA or Donald Trump and what's their interest decide. We were talking about domestically. How can we handle such things?
No, I understand what you're saying, but it's the way I see it as South Africans, instead of listening each other, I do think we will never achieve anything, whether it comes to land, whether it comes to, because we are just not willing to listen each other. Because I see some of the people in the comments saying we are wasting time. We're gonna talk, guys, but if our topic won't be talking about the corruption, won't be talking about dumb politicians, we will never achieve anything in this country.
But how is dumb politician has to do with the land here? Because we are not saying politicians are the one who should solve it. We are not saying politicians should solve our problem.
They are not, but the moment you start talking about those things, they're gonna send police and soldiers to get you arrested. They are the key problem.
Therefore, whoever educated you, please tell me who they are so I can sort them out.
No, sir, I respect you a lot because I do follow you, but I think you should be more exposing of what is happening in South Africa instead of just
more
the top.
Believe you me.
Yes, because I think for me you're not going deep and explain of what is happening, because this problem that is happening in South Africa, it affects everyone. Hoster, sorry for wasting your time, but I think we need a proper platform, Hoster, which is you do sometimes to give people a chance, which is I like that. Why we have farm killings, colored killings that are happening in South Africa, women, gender-based violence, all those things. But we as South Africans, we are not willing to listen to each other. We are just watching news that have been planned by people who've got business in South Africa, who are making us dumb every day. Including the most thing that it makes me hurt is when you see white people pushing racism, but some of them, they don't know what is happening in South Africa, because you've got people who have an interest each and every time when we are fighting in the country.
Yeah, but Tifo, you cannot be trying to talk about the whole lot of things in like we have a discussion about specific things. You are trying to compress the whole issues of South Africa.
We were actually having a great topic. It was actually, we were learning more from that topic like you can't believe. And then Tifo, you are a gaslighter.
Can I quickly come in? I think my signal is bad.
Yes. Yes, you may.